All right, hey YouTube. So this is going to be part 2 to the last Postmates video that I uploaded. If you did not catch that one, I'll probably have something floating around, or you can check the description and you can watch that video if you want. Basically, I went over the basics of what you need when you're getting into Postmates. Not trying to beat around the bush. I'm getting, clear and straight to the facts on it when it came to Postmates. And if you think you need more information, or if you think you are someone that's beginning or something that's what you want to do, you can definitely find that video. And I'm not going to be the Postmates guy, but I do have information, and why not share it? And the question that a viewer had on one of the last uploads that I posted regarding Postmates, they basically asked if you have the Postmates card, or if you actually don't have the Postmates credit card. It's basically a credit card. If you don't have it, are you still able to do deliveries? And I'm going to get straight to it. No, you don't need it. Honestly, I sometimes I kind of regret activating it. That's probably the first thing you should know. If you do activate this card, then it's no going back. You're going to have these deliveries pop up, and you're basically going to have to make sure that you have this card on you or in somewhere in your vicinity at all times. Honestly, before I activated it, I preferred it more with Postmates because it was very cookie cutter. It was very simple. You get the order, you go straight to the place, tell them your order number, boom, you're in, you're out. Whereas with the debit card, in a lot of cases, because Postmates isn't necessarily just food, you can deliver medicine from pharmacies. You can honestly, anything. I never necessarily was a Postmates customer, so I don't necessarily know all the things that can be delivered, but sometimes there are promotions where you can earn an extra $5 if you're picking up for someone at Walmart. I've never got a Walmart order, but I've had to shop for someone at Bonds before, and heck, I've done it at even other places. Basically, you're gonna have to put the order in if you do have a Postmates order that requires you to use your credit card when you do go in. Honestly, it's honestly very simple. Postmates loads basically the average or estimated amount that you need, and probably a little bit more, but they load that amount for you. So you really shouldn't have problems. I have never had a problem with my card. Basically whatever that they have on the list that they want you to get for them, you basically will have that balance on this card. And it's very simple, but the thing is that you can sometimes use a lot of your time when you're actually there, because you are looking for things. Like, for example, I've had to do this with my Postmates card at 7-Eleven, for example. And at 7-Eleven, I'm looking for things like, I don't know, they were buying like Nutella from 7-Eleven. It's marked up because of convenience. I went to them. I was like, why are you buying Nutella from 7-Eleven? But hey, it doesn't matter. It just said that that's what they had available, and I guess that they really wanted Nutella. So, who am I to judge? But you can sometimes spend a lot of time, because if you're in a space like that where you have to go around and search for things, it can take up your time. And like I said in my last video, a lot of this comes down to speed and efficiency. Now, don't be running around the city. I don't think that's good, because if you watched the last video, then you would know that your vehicle is obviously the #1 thing. And if you don't have a relatively newer vehicle, why are we going to run it through the wire when we don't have to? Take your time, pace yourself. But that's the main thing. If you are using this card, you're going to use up more time. You get paid for the time, but that time could probably be more valuable if you're getting, multiple orders simultaneously. I think I uploaded like another video that wasn't Postmates related, and I got a Postmates order and it was like 2 at the same time. It's kind of hard, because when you are getting orders, what I noticed the most is that at most it'll stack up at least 2 orders, maybe 3, but at most 2, because I don't know, I've seen the limit of 4. So you have the pickup, the drop off, and then another pickup and the drop off, and then it doesn't really go past that point, unless there's orders from the same place. Then maybe you'll have at least probably 3 drop offs at one time. But as far as the card, a part of me wishes I didn't, but then again, I think it's better because you have more opportunity to get orders, and this is where it comes down to the speed and efficiency. you know, it's like the more orders the better. If you're trying to hit an incentive, then having the card actually probably will help you get there a little faster, because if you don't have the card, then you're not necessarily going to get those orders. And if it's not activated, let me say that, if it's not activated, you're not going to get those orders. So if you're someone who doesn't want to deal with certain things like that, because sometimes at places things aren't available, and then you're going to have to use your time calling them or messaging them and letting them know. For the most part, if something's not available, I'll text them, usually, because sometimes, I don't know, calling can be a bit wonky, and then once again, you're wasting time. So honestly, my recommendation is, you know, if it's not available, I text them, tell them it's not available. I get them the things they do need. Long story short, they don't have to spend as much money as they thought they were going to spend. So that kind of works for them. And who knows, you might get a tip. Usually with these orders, with the card, it depends on where you're at. Like, I've had to use this card at some high-end restaurants, and when I, you know, delivered the food, I got a $10+ tip. But, you know, if it's like a 7-Eleven, at most you're probably going to see like a $2 tip, and sometimes that might be like a day or two later. So that's really it as far as the card. Once again, I can add more in-depth things. I think just for the person that commented in this video, wanted to elaborate on that a little bit more. I recommend activating the card if you want to get the most out of Postmates, because it's more opportunity. And that's probably the best thing. If you didn't get the card, don't be pressed to get it right away, because it kind of changes when you do have the card. Because if you like just going in, telling them, hey, this is the order number, you know, give me what they have, let me get out, then boom, you're cool. But if you want more opportunity in getting orders and actually just, you know, just flying through orders, if you want to reach incentives, which I talked about that in the last one, you probably don't want to use this. Like, because like if you're like I would hate to get like a 7-Eleven order when I have an incentive that's due within 3 hours. That would kind of suck. I was trying to reach the 50 order, you know, incentive, and that was my last order. It was a 7-Eleven one, and I probably could go in more in depth on that, because I completed that order after the cutoff time. But the good thing was is that I accepted that order before the deadline. So I'll probably have to, you know, do some more research on that, because it was pretty interesting. Because I initially thought that, you know, if the cutoff is 9:30, then, or usually with the $50 one, it's about 11:30. I took the order at 11:15. I thought it, once 11:30 hits, if you're not at that goal, then boom, you're done. Some people probably have different experiences, but for me, since I accepted that order at 11:15 and still finished it, that still counted towards me reaching the incentive. If you care about that thing, and if you want you know, a little bit more information about the incentive, I talked more about it in that first video, so check that out if you want. Hopefully I answered the person who commented, you know, who commented on the last video. Hopefully I answered your question. Yeah, it's a useful tool, because you get more, you're going to get more orders. But if you're someone that cares about the tips and your time, then it might not be something that you should be gung-ho about. But I'm really noticing, especially with the ride sharing thing, is that, you know, everyone's schedule is different, especially here in California. Everyone, you know, everyone's time is, you know, sectored differently, and you have to do the best thing that you can for yourself. So yeah, sorry if I dragged this on. Hopefully I added some value. Let me know. I have no problem, you know, making another Postmates video, because it's something I'm doing. And if it's something you want to get into to actually earn some more money, then by all means, you know, hey, I can give you some tips. I'm a little bit seasoned now. Yeah. So like, comment, share, subscribe. Yeah, and I'll once again, if you are a long-time watcher, we're just on the grind. Just on the grind. So thank you for watching. Have a good day.
Points, I got aching joints. Ever since I was a kid, I had to make a point. I had to rip a crowd. I had to make my vows to this thing that made me who I am and held me down. Shout out Kyler Holmes, you made this house a home. Remember wishing there was way more to us than poems, but that was back then. I'm 22 now. I got other avenues to get me through now.